Hello, fabulous Virgo. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of May 2015, Love Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month in the context of love, we have Venus moving into very compatible sign to you, Cancer. And we have Mars moving into very compatible sign for you, Taurus, fellow earth sign, Taurus. You put these together and it sets up a really nice stage for you to make the most of the romantic energies that are on offer this month. Now, this is the type of energy, I gotta say and be honest with you, there's an element here of you needing to be a little active with this on the one hand, and that's mostly Mars. So Mars is in a part of the sky that's going to ask you to take initiative, ask you to think about ultimately what you want and what needs to happen now so you can have that type of experiences that you want in love ultimately. Have that type of sense of passion and purpose and love that you ultimately do want. What do you need to change right now to make that happen? Where do you need to be? What situations do you need to put yourself in to make that happen for you? But it is the position of Venus that I find most interesting this month. And that's because Venus will, as we move into the second part of the month, Venus will slowly but surely begin to stand across the sky from Pluto. This is possibly going to be, and this is happening right around the middle of the month, one of the more important moments in love that you are going to be experiencing this month. And one of the more important moments in love, I do think you're going to be experiencing in the broader context of this given year. Pluto is moving through the part of the sky for you that has to do with love and is slowly over this decade and into the next redefining what love and romance is going to mean to you, attraction, and the feeling of life and aliveness that love grants. What is that going to mean to you? This presents you with opportunities to have really faded interactions and faded connections, connections that feel truly faded as well. And given that, it does suggest to me that the way that Venus is going to be speaking with Pluto, I mean, I look at this and it just suggests a real moment that feels faded, that feels strong, that likely will be either facilitated by a friend or is with a friend, that really leads you to have that sense of what is possible for you in love and what some of the larger lessons are actually playing out for you now. You get a real glimpse into that as well, and where it is that love involves powerlessness and how you feel about that as well. So those of you in an established bond, I think you really are going to be coming to that point where you're going to be like, okay, this is where I have no control over this person. And I think that's a big lesson for anybody in an established bond. This is where you have no control over this person. Yes, you're in a relationship with them. Yes, you're committed to them. But they have a will and a drive and a sense of what they need to do that has really nothing to do with you. They know in their spirit where their learning is and will make choices that have nothing to do with you. Now, this is a general rule, I think, that is true for everybody in the world, really. We do things for all kinds of reasons that ultimately are not about anybody else, but about us and our perceptions and our experiences and how we've chosen to interpret those experiences. But when it comes to somebody you're in a committed bond with, it's not so much that it has anything to do with you. It's not so much that they're making decisions about you, but more that they're making decisions in their life about what they need to do that may not necessarily seem like they're sticking to the plan that you have for their life. I do think that some Virgos out there might surprise themselves by realizing that this is part of the expectation, the dynamic that they've built up, and how that's not the way love works. There's nothing you can do to control the other person if you're going to be in an established bond. Ultimately, people do what it is that they feel they need to do. Those of you who are dating somebody, I think this energy becomes that much more important and that much more magnified as well. If you are dating someone, this is going to be a real moment of honesty, likely facilitated by a friend. So it might be in a social situation that you see this person in a whole other way and be like, oh, wow, okay, that's who you are. Now, this could go either way. I'll be honest with you. It could go either way, for better or for worse. But I do think that you may end up really being a little bit surprised as you see this person in a whole other context and see what other elements of themselves they're able to bring forward in those places. For some of you out there, this is going to be, if you are single, open to meeting somebody new, this is likely going to be a flirtation that feels really strong, that feels like it was meant to be. Now, how far you go with it is completely up to you. How far it feels comfortable for you to go with it, completely up to you. But there is an element here playing out where it is likely for you to be presented with a flirtation of sorts that really makes a very powerful impact. Now, this is part of a larger picture where I do think that, look, Pluto is in the part of the sky that has to do with flirtation and romance. When Pluto is triggered in meaningful ways, it presents itself, that opportunity for you. And so it's not that unusual, with a little bit of willingness, for you to find yourself presented with people who really have a way of making an impact. This is one of those moments for you. This is one of those times for you where you could very well have that type of moment with a person. You might be like, is this person flirting with me? Does this make sense? There might be a little bit of that. Regardless of what you choose, how the universe ends up working very much in your favor and to your liking as well. I do think that there's an element playing out here this month that suggests to me that something in you is changing very much for the better. Something in you is coming to understand your deeper motivations and love and attraction. You're now reaching a certain turning point in the context of the lessons that Pluto has to provide. We've reached the halfway point of Pluto's journey through this romance part of your sky. And with these particular triggers this month, you're going to start to get a clearer understanding of what all this learning really has been about, and what is it within you that is desiring to be reborn again in your definition of love. What I love about this month for you is that you are growing more honest with yourself, and you are allowing love to change you and to change you into a person that you like very much. And I think that really is when love can be at its best.